The funny thing is, if you have good credit or bad credit, you still will be interested in using your EIN to get a business credit card. If you have bad credit, using your EIN will help you, actually will shield you from a possible denial. If you have good personal credit, you still want to apply using your EIN because you're trying to preserve your personal credit. So it's a win-win in either case. So here are the steps I want you to follow right now if you want to use your EIN to get a business credit card. Okay, and it's really important to understand what EIN-only business credit means. We have explained this on other shows, but in today's conversation, I really want to say it again. EIN-only business credit means that you are asking the credit card issuer to make their credit decision based only on your company's EIN. By the way, EIN stands for Employer Identification Number. So when we talk about EIN-only business credit, you have to understand this is a big risk for lenders to take, because essentially, if your business defaults, the credit card issuer, or the business lender for that matter, they have no other resort. So it's really important that you understand, because that's going to help you when it comes to understanding the rest of the video. An EIN-only business credit card or business loan application for that matter doesn't mean you just replace your social with your EIN on the application form. Contrary to what a lot of folks believe, this is not how things work. Okay, it is way more than that. Let me emphasize this again. It is way more than that. It's not just replacing your social with your EIN. Don't use a traditional credit card or loan application for EIN-only business credit. Don't do that. And this is because the application form, whether it is for a business credit card or business loan, this was not designed for EIN-only business credit in the first place. Okay, so make sure that you pay attention to this. It's a lot better if you want to apply, if you want to use your EIN to get a business credit card, to do it either over the phone or preferably at a branch. Ideally, you want to do it at a branch. This is what we have seen works in 99.9% of cases. If you want to use your EIN to get a business credit card, do it. You want to apply at a branch. So the first step is to understand what EIN-only business credit means. Step number 2, you want to legitimize your business. By the way, boss, before I explain to you why you need to make your business legit, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. Very happy. And when we talk about making your business legit, we're talking about a couple of things. A lot of times when we talk about legitimizing your business, people think it's only about money. No, money is one aspect of things. By money, I mean you need to make sure that your company's financials are legit, that you are actually generating revenue. Okay. But beyond the monetary aspect of things, you need to choose a business structure. Make sure that you have the right business structure for your particular industry. Okay. Get a business address. Those things are important. You might be thinking, well, those are basic. This is basic advice. No. Your ass will be denied if you don't pay attention to those things. If you want to use your EIN to get a business credit card, make sure you have a business address. I don't care if you work from home, if you work from your basement or whatever. You can actually work physically from your home, but you can have a virtual address. There are a lot of players nowadays that offer virtual mailboxes where you're getting your mails, you're getting your mail or your mail at another location. It's just a lot better. That way you are segregating your personal affairs from your business affairs. Okay. And you want to register a business name, make sure all those things are legit. Okay. You want to have the right name in the state database. You need to have your EIN, of course. Apply for business licenses and permits. Those are basic, very important things. Okay. Don't forget to open a business bank account. If you want to use an EIN to get a credit card, a business credit card, open a business bank account. You want to get business insurance, whatever your business is about, Make sure you comply. Make sure that you have the proper insurance policies and whatnot. The third thing I want you to do, boss, if you are trying to use your EIN to get a business credit card, is to write a business plan. By the way, I just want to remind you of today's topic. We're speaking about how to use an EIN to get a business credit card. And a lot of advice I'm giving in this show can also apply for business loan. In other words, how to use an EIN to get a business loan. And when we talk about a business plan, a lot of folks, and this is something that sometimes, when we say this, some viewers say, well, you have been saying this over and over and over. But hey, listen, hey. We've been saying this over and over and over, but people are not listening. So we need to keep saying it until people listen, because it is so quintessential. Simply because I've been telling you that 1 + 1 = 2 doesn't make it wrong. 1 + 1 = 2 will always equal 2. Okay, the same thing here. If you want to use your EIN to get a business credit card, and you're trying to make sure that you solidify your application, write a business plan. Write a business plan. Make sure that you are actually talking about, you're conveying to the business credit card provider your vision for your business, where you see your business in 5 years. What are the things that are bothering you? What are the strategies you're putting in place to actually fight your rivals? Talk to me about that. Talk to the credit card issuer about your strategies, your plans, your goals, your dreams for your business. Talk about your cash inflows and cash outflows. Talk about your financial solidity, your balance sheet. Talk about who is behind the business. Talk about your statement of owner's equity. Those are important elements. Talk about your SWOT analysis. Okay, your competitive threats, all the things that are happening in your industry. Talk about that, boss. You have a business, you want to use your EIN to get a credit card. This is what you need to talk about, because you're telling the lender not to pay attention to your personal credit score, but to only pay attention to your EIN. You're going to have to demonstrate, you're going to have to show the credit card issuer that your EIN is indeed strong. Step number 4, if you want to use your EIN to get a business credit card, you need to actually produce financials. Everything revolves around financials. And I don't care if you have an established business or you're a new business, it doesn't really matter. The only difference is that when you have an established business, you have to produce 2 sets of very separate financials. You got to have actual and projected. But if you're a startup, if you're a new business, you can only produce projected financial statements. Okay, and my advice on this topic is kind of similar to what I said earlier about a business plan. See, the thing is, a lot of viewers, at least some viewers who email us, those who email us very consistently, they're looking for a shortcut. They don't want to do the hard work. They're lazy asses, just want to get the info and just go and apply and whatever. It doesn't work that way. You're going to have to produce actual and projected financials. If you can't do it yourself, you have business accounting software, such as QuickBooks, such as Xero, such as Wave, such as Expensify, such as FreshBooks. You have a constellation of accounting software tools that could do the work for you. That's one option. You can also hire someone to do it for you. You can hire someone to prepare actual and projected financial statements for your business. That's option number 2. Option number 3, you can have somebody in-house. If your business is big enough that you can actually hire an in-house accountant to work full-time for you, well, ask this person to do it for you. But the bottom line is, I don't care what you're thinking here. If you don't have actual and projected financial statements, You're not going to be able to use your EIN to get a business credit card. You're not. Don't let anybody razzle dazzle you. People are lying to you. Okay. And when I'm talking about your financial statements, I'm speaking about all the 4 financial statements. I'm speaking about your balance sheet. I'm talking about your reporting on your income. So income statement, reporting on your cash flow statements, and reporting on your shareholders' equity. The 5th step that I want you to follow right now, if you want to use your EIN to get a business credit card, you need to divorce your personal expenses from your businesses. Let me repeat that. You need to divorce your personal expenses from your business's expenses. By the way, I just want to quickly remind you to this topic again. We're having a conversation about how to use an EIN to get a business credit card. And why is it important? Why do you have to segregate your personal affairs from your business's affairs? Well, it's simply because you're asking the lender or you're asking the credit card issuer to do the same thing. So you better start doing it yourself if you want them to actually follow suit, because it will be so dichotomous. It will be so weird if you're asking the lender or a credit card issuer not to intertwine your personal and business affairs, but you, of all people, are doing exactly that. You're doing exactly that specific thing you don't want other people to do for you. So everything starts from you. You have to be a role model when it comes to segregating your expenses and make sure that you are consistent. It's not about, hey, in this department we are separating expenses, but in the other department we're kind of cool by just having one set of expenses. No, things have to be separated across the board. Okay, it has to be. So what I'm trying to say here is, even if you don't have a credit card, you probably have a debit card. You have a business debit card. Use your business debit card, your business accounts for business expenses. Make all payments through that account. All right. If on Friday night you probably want to go to happy hours and you have the temptation to use your business credit card or debit card to pay for that happy hour, don't do it. Okay, you're on vacation. Don't try to blur the lines, because authorities and business credit card issuers, they'll catch your ass real quick. You don't want that. Okay, especially, the IRS is very adamant at making sure that business owners do not actually transform personal expenses into business expenses so they can lower their taxes. No. So it's all about discipline. It's all about making sure you have that discipline from the get-go. Okay, so when we talk about divorcing your personal expenses from your business expenses, it's important. Okay, everything starts from making sure that you also use accounting software to actually integrate your payments and track your payments on the business side. Step number 6. You need to know EIN-only business credit cards. You need to understand, if you want to use your EIN to get a business credit card, there are some business credit cards. They're a lot friendlier to entrepreneurs. Preferably, what you want to do is you want to go for business credit cards such as Divi. So Divi is a corporate credit card, and they do offer impressive perks. And this is kind of cool. They have rewards. They have pros and cons. So this is kind of cool. And one thing I want to say here, this is actually by definition an EIN-only business credit card. One thing you would find as you dig a little deeper into this topic is that when we talk about EIN-only business credit cards, those are primarily corporate credit cards, corporate cards, charge cards. Now, if you want to apply for a regular credit card, such as one that JP Morgan has, or American Express, or Bank of America, then you need to do much more work. You need to plan the stuff. You need to go to a branch, have a conversation with someone, sit down and convince them to issue this business credit card to you on an EIN-only basis. So when we talk about the EIN-only business credit cards that you currently have on the market, you have Divi, of course, I just said that. You have Ramp, So Ramp is kind of cool when it comes to business credit cards. They have like if you want a card that has no fees, Ramp is really good. And then you also have Brex. So Brex is also a great alternative to Divi and Ramp. You have Row, also Row. The Row card also plays on the same turf as the other 3 or 4. Okay, and especially if you're looking for flexible terms, Row could be a good opportunity for you. And then you also have American Express. So Amex cards, Amex business credit cards can also be applied for on an EIN-only basis. Same thing for JP Morgan. And you also have Airbase. This is another player that not many entrepreneurs know about. And so Airbase is kind of cool. And Airbase, in our view, is the best Divi alternative for expense management. Really, really cool. Number 7, you need to apply for your preferred EIN-only business credit card. Okay, so I have just given you a list of possible candidates for EIN-only business credit cards. So after filtering out the ones that you can't qualify for, or that you don't like, or you don't really appreciate the perks and whatnot, it's about time that you actually zero in on 1 or 2 or 3. And so this is what you need to do. Specifically, if you want to use your EIN to get a business credit card, you want to apply at a branch. I've said this before, not on the phone or online. You need to apply at a branch for traditional credit cards at banks or credit unions. And when you go to a branch, make sure you bring all your paperwork. It's not something that will happen overnight. It won't happen on the same day. It takes time. You need to start a conversation with a branch manager or assistant branch manager. Okay, it's better to try this at a bank with which you already have a long-lasting relationship. This is important. Here, I'm emphasizing the word long-lasting. Okay, so you cannot apply, you cannot use your EIN to get a business credit card at a bank of which you just became a client. No, it takes time. And when you go to a branch and when you engage with the branch manager or the assistant branch manager, you need to put forward 2 important things. So you're asking them to give you a business credit card with EIN-only. Make sure you explain to them that you will have the liquidity, the sufficient cash flow to pay off whatever balance you will have on the card. That's number 1. And that your company is doing well in an economic sector that's even rosier. Those are 2 things you need to mention. If you want them to approve you, you got to mention those 2 things. Now, you can't just mention them and hope that they will believe you. You got to prove it too, right? You got to prove that indeed you will have the liquidity to pay off whatever balance there is left on the card, and that your company, the sector you're in, the trends are good. You can show newspaper articles. You can show reports. You can show research trends that show that, hey, listen, your industry is just banging right now. Okay, and your industry is doing great, and that you are doing even better. So this is important. So before I close to this conversation, I want to talk to you about something that's important that you need to understand. First of all, what's an EIN? An EIN is just a 9-digit number that the IRS assigns to your business for tax ID purposes. Okay, so unlike your social security number, your EIN is associated with your business and not with you personally. And in some circumstances, you may be able to use your EIN to apply for and obtain a credit card or loan for business use. Okay, now it is harder to get a business credit card without a social, because again, going back to what I said, lenders and credit card issuers, they really care about what will happen if what will happen to their loan, what will happen to their credit card balances if something were to happen to you personally. Okay, so this is why you have to be careful here. This is why you have to do extra work to actually get the business credit card you're applying for. Okay. Now when we talk about the types of cards that are easier to get approved for, of course you have the corporate cards. You have the Chase Inc. business credit cards. Okay. For example, you have the Chase Inc. Business Cash, the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited. You have the Chase Inc. Business Preferred. So those are cards that you can actually apply for. And I just told you also all the constellation of corporate cards, DV, Row, Brex. Okay. And corporate, you can also apply for, you can use your EIN to get a corporate gas cards, for example. So gas cards are kind of cool. I mean, they are also known as fleet fuel cards. So they can be handy payment instruments if you and your employees do a lot of business related road travel. And so some of these cards can be applied for using just your EIN, and they do not require a personal guarantee. Of course, these cards can only be used for purchases at gas stations, so their utility is limited. But hey, listen, if you're in that sort of if you have that need, this could be a great opportunity. And also, don't forget corporate store credit cards. Also, you can apply for those using EIN-Only. So you have a litany of possibilities. Here is a bonus for you before we close today's conversation. You need to apply for EIN-Only business credit cards if you have bad or no personal credit, if you don't have a social security number, because again, when you're applying for an EIN-Only business credit card, it's because your personal credit score, and they're really good. Okay, because if you were, a lot of folks would rather use their personal credit, let's say their personal social, to apply for a business credit card and get a very good rate, and then later on they can just switch. Because if you have marvelous credit, chances are you're going to have single-digit APRs. Okay, and if you are were to apply using EIN-Only, even if the bank approves you, they might not give you the APR you are looking for. So this is important. And when we talk about using your EIN to get a business credit card, it's not just the business credit card. This has to be part of a whole conversation you need to have with yourself or with your staff. You also have to think about building business credit with your EIN overall. Okay, so it's all about making sure that you're applying for net 30 accounts. Then you can apply also for EIN-Only business lines of credit, EIN-Only business loans. So anything that is business funding, you can think about applying for it using EIN-Only, using your EIN. So this is the formula I wanted to share with you today, so that you're definitely clear about what to do. And one thing I want to go back before I close, and I'm going to close now. Please always go back to the institution that knows you, the bank where you're currently at, the credit union where you're currently at. Sometimes people want to try new things. I mean, trying new things ain't really that bad. Don't get me wrong. But when it comes to business funding, it's just a lot better to start where you are already known. Okay, instead of always trying to reinvent the wheel. Just a lot better to apply where you currently have a relationship. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just talking to you about how to use an EIN to get a business credit card. So understand what EIN-Only business credit means, legitimize your business, write a business plan, produce actual and projected financials, divorce your expenses from your business's expenses, know EIN-Only business credit cards, and apply for your preferred EIN-Only credit card. Thank you. I'll speak to you another time, but until then, remember, stay marvelous.